Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, guys. We're glad you're here. I'm sorry it took a while to get here today. We had a power outage right at 6 p.m. right before 6 p.m. when we were going to come on the air at 6 p.m. tonight, which was an hour and a half ago. So I'm sorry we're coming on the air late. Now, I want to see if we can get some more people in here, so I'm going to start tonight's program with the national anthem of the United States of America. I would ask everybody right now to please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave blue through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We love these guys. We love these men and women in our armed forces, wherever they might be. We love this rendition of this anthem as well. That's why we've kind of taken a fond taking to it. Boy, can I not talk tonight? We've taken a fond liking to it, and as a result, we played it off and on all during our shows for the past probably 3 years. We appreciate that so much. God bless our men and women in uniform wherever they might be throughout the world. God bless all of our allied armed forces wherever they might be as well. May they all return home to their families when their tours of duty end. God bless you guys, you men and women. Thank you so much for your service. Folks, I have a lot to talk about tonight. I would hope that you all would hang here in with me, because I have a lot to say. Now, I want to say this. to start with. We're going to devote a large portion of this show tonight to Hurricane Helene and the damage that Hurricane Helene inflicted on human beings on the east coast of the United States. Hurricane Helene was a very bad hurricane. It came ashore as a Category 4 hurricane, almost a Category 5 storm. This was a big deal. A lot of people that don't understand it don't know what they're talking about. This was a big deal. Okay? It came in from the bottom. I hate saying that because some of the meteorologists said it was the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico. It was not. This came in from the lower southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. Then it went almost straight north until it hit the Big Bend of Florida near Perry, Florida. Then it was supposed to go straight north and west. It did not. This storm went and tracked completely to the east coast. Georgia, South North Carolina, and into Virginia. Meanwhile, Friday into Saturday, this storm dug a hole, a very deep hole, and many people were killed. Many people were killed. Roads were blocked by fallen trees and power poles and power lines. Rivers overflowed their banks, leaving stagnant, stinking, unhealthful water and mud remaining. Businesses have been destroyed, flooded, cars overturned, people trapped in the floodwaters needing rescue. Good Samaritans, private people, first responders, police, fire, and medical personnel risking their lives to rescue these trapped people. Now, 10 homeless bodies have been found in a homeless encampment in back of the Walmart here in Morganton. 10 homeless bodies have been found in the homeless encampment in back of the Morganton Walmart. The homeless have been camping in the woods back there and alongside highways in the trees so they could have a little bit of respite from people that would harass them. So they've been back in the trees and back of Walmart and alongside the highways, hiding basically in the trees and woods wherever they could find some shelter. Now, why am I saying this? If any of you are in the woods or have homes in the woods anywhere near a forested area here in North Carolina, check your neighboring woods or forested area for strange smells. If you smell something strange and out of the ordinary, call your local law enforcement. Call your local law enforcement immediately. Okay? That's how these people were found behind Walmart today. Now, besides that, Walmart and Food Lion here in Morganton are open. Walmart is over 3 miles south of me on West Fleming Drive. The Food Lion is open on Highway 181. Food Lion is open finally because it finally got some power. When Carol and I went traveling on Saturday noon, Saturday afternoon, we went over to the Food Lion on Highway 181. We talked to a manager there. They had been throwing out frozen food because it had begun to thaw, and they can't sell it then. So they threw out thousands of pounds of food out of their freezers. Now, the Food Lion is open up. The Food Lion is like a Safeway store, but it's called Food Lion. It's a good store. It's a very good neighborhood store. But we've heard stories of vehicles with food being swarmed and their tires being slashed. We've heard stories of vehicles that have had food and food trucks with their tires being slashed and the supplies being stolen. Now, it's not just here in the southern part of the United States, it's all over. Wherever we've had homeless encampments, wherever we've had sanctuary cities, these sanctuary cities have allowed migrants to come in, and those cities have now been overrun. Looting and vandalism is a huge problem. Looting and vandalism is a huge problem in lieu of Hurricane Helene. This should be a wake-up call to all of us. If you have preps that were not washed away, protect those preps with everything you have. Protect those preparations with everything you had. Okay? Be careful yourselves. Protect yourselves. I'm going to repeat that. Protect yourselves. These people that are running around with their heads cut off, and that's what I believe they're doing, they're running around not thinking of anything but themselves. They're likely to get hurt. They're likely to get hurt trying to steal from us. And I want you to protect yourselves. Now, you may not have seen anything happen for a long time, but it's only been 3 or 4 days and society is devolving. Not evolving, society is devolving. Help is sparse because it can't get you where you need to go. There have been multiple reports of police responding to break-ins and robberies. People are already on their own across this country. Picture this. Across this country or globally, we go back to the Stone Age really quickly without technology and roads, shelter, food, and water. Hurricane Helene taught us several things. What we can do without food and water. First, food. We've been talking about emergency preparedness food for a very long time. We've been talking about having food storage. We've been talking about having food storage in the form of canned goods and packaged goods. We talked about food storage in terms of freeze-dried food as well. Now, we learned a lot during Hurricane Helene this weekend. We learned a lot. We learned what we could do with food that we had in our homes because the stores were not open. The stores were not open. There was absolutely nothing we could do about it. Not a thing we could do about it. The stores had no place to turn on the power. The power had been knocked out by the hurricane. And until the power had come on in our neighborhoods, our stores were barren. And they locked up their doors. Walmart, for example, on Saturday, opened the store until 3 p.m. They had no ice, but they had food. They had clothing. Some people that were in there, I'm sure, were part of that homeless encampment in back of the store. I saw their clothes, the way they were dressed. Now, someone might say, how do you know they're homeless? You can tell. You can tell from the normal way people dress to the people that dress like in homeless encampments that don't have much. Those people were in the store buying stuff, buying things that they absolutely couldn't go without. Other people that had some money were buying clothes and other items as well. Again, there was no ice, there was only water. Walmart still has a ton of water. Pallets and pallets of water today. Now, picture this without water, or food, or technology. Roads that we can travel on. This past weekend we learned what we had and didn't have. Roads were blocked by fallen trees and power poles and power lines along the roadways that we didn't dare cross. We learned to do without technology. At least I did. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Shelter. We learned to appreciate shelter. The bishop of the church that I go to said that he was in his house watching the roof of his barn going up and down like this. Hurricane Helene tried to get his roof off of his barn. He watched his roof go up and down. This is typically what happens during hurricanes. We learn to appreciate the shelter we have. We learned to appreciate the food that we had as well, because we couldn't go anywhere to buy any more. And I'm going to continue to preach about preparedness food storage, freeze-dried food. I'm also going to continue to preach about water. Carol and I had plenty of water in our home, both for us and our puppy dogs. Now, some people may say, your dogs are 15 years old, they're no longer puppies. They're still puppies in my mind. They're Carol and my kids, and we love our dogs. We have separate stored water for just them and our cooking. We have water for drinking. We save that. We save that. I'm also asking you all to do the same thing. Now, Hurricane Helene might be over. Hurricane Helene might be over. But be advised, you still need to be storing water and food. I'm not going to let that go. Linda Covington is in our chat today. She's now an EMA highest level 3. God bless you, Linda. We appreciate you being here. For those of you that don't know, Linda's been in the hospital until recently. She's now come home, and we need to pray for her. We need to pray for her and her health. We love our friend and sister Linda. She's a godsend to this program. She's a godsend to us and our family. We love her. Thank you for being here, Linda. We appreciate you so much. God bless you. Now, Richard Smith says worst case scenario, boiling flood water. And actually, that's what most people are having to do here in Morganton. Yesterday afternoon, we got sent boiling water notices on our phones. Prior to that, we weren't getting anything off our phones at all. But somehow, the internet came on. Somehow, T-Mobile and the other mobile phone providers actually came on. And all of a sudden, we were getting these warnings from the local city and the state of North Carolina sending us out warnings, we need to boil water. Why? Because the water treatment plant was underwater. The water treatment plant was underwater. And at the time, we were just barely getting trickle water out of the faucets. Just barely getting trickle water out of the faucets. And we're now getting more water pressure from the city, but we're still under water boiling notice because the water treatment plant is underwater. And it is unknown whether that water treatment plant is going to be saved or suffer other technical difficulties when the water level goes down. We learn how to appreciate what we have. And we learn how to boil water very quickly. We don't have to boil water necessarily. Really, the only thing we use our water out of the tap for or out of the dishwasher is to wash our dishes. And that water in the dishwasher is boiling temperatures. So I believe we're pretty safe there. Very hot water used to clean our dishes. But we don't use the water for much of anything else. We have water to wash our bodies. I don't believe we can have water right now to wash our clothes, unless we want untreated water to get on our clothes, and I really don't want to do that. So we're not washing our clothes yet. We've been 2 weeks without having clean clothes. And so far, we're making our clean clothes stretch. Okay? Now, with that said, I've told you about the destruction this hurricane has had. Let me update you on the death toll from Hurricane Helene. This morning, we were given a death toll that has risen now to 118 people that have been killed as a result of this storm. There's 1,150 people that are missing. 1,150 people are missing after being struck with this storm. Missing. I'm hoping and praying we find each and every one of those people alive. I'm going to pay fair attention in the coming days to WX fatalities. WX fatalities on the internet. That's the way you find out about weather-related fatalities. WX fatalities. As of today, 46 plus North Carolinians have been killed. 1,000 people remain missing here in North Carolina. 30 plus people in Buncombe County. That is up near Asheville, Buncombe County. Henderson County, 5 people died. Catawba County to the north of us, near Hickory. In Catawba County, 1 person's been found dead. Gaston County, just west of Charlotte, 1 person has been found dead there. Over in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, 1 person has been declared dead there. 8 other people here in North Carolina with no specific locations. 30 people in South Carolina. 6 in Spartanburg County. 5 in Greenville County. 4 in Aiken County. 4 in Saluda County. 4 in Anderson County. 3 in Lawrence County. 2 in Newberry County. 1 in Greenwood County. One in Chesterfield County. Over in Georgia, 6 people in Richmond County, Georgia. 4 in McDuffie County. 3 in Loudon County. 2 in Wheeler County. 2 in Lawrence County. 2 in Jeff Davis County. 2 in Washington County. 1 in Lockwood County. 1 in Pierce County. 1 in Liberty County. 1 in Columbia County. In Florida, 13 people have been found dead in Florida. 10 in Pinellas County. 2 in Hillsborough County. 1 in Dixie County. In Taylor County, Perry, Florida, where the hurricane made landfall, no people were found dead at all. Taylor County, Perry, Florida got very lucky. Very lucky. Because Taylor County got hit with the utmost Hurricane 4 winds. 130 miles an hour. In Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee also got hit by this horrible storm. 2 plus people in Tennessee are dead. 153 remain missing. 1 in Unicoi County. 1 in Johnson County. To the north of North Carolina, 2 in Virginia. 1 in Craig County and 1 in Tazewell County. Those numbers may be going up in the coming days. We will keep you informed about that death toll and the number of people missing. We don't want to forget those people, ever. Not ever. Now let's talk about emergency preparedness. The only things that we thought we had ready and did not, when it came to use them, our AM, FM weather emergency radios were dead. I have played those radios for you in the past to show that they were working. Well, Friday, after the power went out, those radios not only did not work, but I could not get them working at all. I troubleshot those radios. I still could not get them working. We had 3 AM, FM weather radios. All 3 stopped working for whatever reason. As I said, I tried to troubleshoot them, but I ended up having to throw them away. Now I'm going to have to find a way to afford getting at least one AM, FM weather radio to replace those that we lost. Carol and I were prepared. We had prepared very well in terms of food and water. Linda Covington, we love you. Your sister told me the other day what had happened, and we're grateful you're home resting. God bless you. And yes, we're praying, we're all praying for your health and welfare. We love you very much. Anyway, now Carol and I are trying to find a way to afford getting another AM, FM weather radio to replace those we lost. Carol and I have sacrificed a lot over the years of preparedness. We had food and water. We had flashlights. When the power went down Friday, we were ready. But when all the phones went out, when T-Mobile and the Verizon and all the other carriers died here, we had no outside communication at all. We had no way to communicate on the internet because the internet and the power went out. We were on high ground with nowhere to go. Belinda Mustafa says she tried to get food but could not. Her neighbor showed up with 3 bags. She's on SSI, I guess, or Social Security. She doesn't get paid until the 3rd. Either do I. James Bareka just joined EMA as EMA1. Thank you so much for being a member of our program. We appreciate that, James. I'm sorry, guys. YouTube disconnected our chat, and now it's back together, so we have our chat back. Like I said, Carol and I were on high ground with nowhere to go. Things looked very bleak because we had no communications with the outside world. And we had relied on that because we had those AM, FM weather radios, didn't we? When those weather radios failed, we had nothing. A lot of others around our neighborhood didn't have anything at all. Nothing. Some had very little food at all. Even our elderly neighbors on this side of us had very little. Carol and I made sure we shared with them. A lot of others around Morganton and elsewhere did not fare as well. With over 118 fatalities now confirmed and over 1,150 people missing, we are now helping to coordinate search and rescue operations. I've been in contact with emergency managers all over North, South Carolina, and Georgia. If any of them are watching or listening to this channel tonight, please do not hesitate to call or write us here and let us get the things you all need. Let us work together to get the things you all need to help rescue and find these people. Equipment. We'll try to find and help you with equipment. We'll try to help get people for you to help with the rescue effort in your communities. That is what needs to be done today and tonight. We need to get crews of chainsaw teams out there to all locations, wherever you might be, chainsaw teams to help cut up trees that have fallen down in neighborhoods. 85% of the trees that have been laying on the highways and the street have been taken down. But there's still trees laying all over the property. Some of them leaning over on other trees, and they pose a hazard to people even walking around. In the back of our property here, we have about a dozen trees that are resting on other trees. If we have any kind of wind go through here, we may have trees crashing down on cars in our parking lot. So we are also looking for chainsaw teams to come in, volunteer chainsaw teams to come here and help us cut down these trees. And most people just want to get rid of the trees, and they don't care whether you take the fallen wood for yourselves. Most people don't care. But we need chainsaw teams to help clean out the neighborhoods. Most people and families can't afford to call in the crews to help. But there are volunteers out there waiting to help. On my street alone, there are trees down all over the place. No, they're not blocking roadways, but the trees that need to be cut up for firewood or to be hauled away are also right next to streets as well. There are families that have been displaced and homes destroyed. Yesterday at the beginning of our Sunday school class, I spoke about these wonderful, I'm not even going to say their names. I spoke about this wonderful family that goes to the church down the street. When we went for a prayer meeting, we were invited to a prayer meeting that started at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. We were invited to that prayer meeting, and at that prayer meeting, we sung a song about families. Then we had a prayer, and we talked about the needs of the people that were there. We found out about a family where a tree had fallen down. A great big tree like this had fallen down. This is just outside the front of our house. This tree did not do any damage except blocking a parking lot. The area that the tree fell into usually had cars parked there. If cars or trucks had been parked there, they would have been scrunched, wouldn't they? This family that was displaced had a great big huge tall tree fall onto their house and made it unlivable. The house that they were living in is structurally unsound. Fortunately, there was another member of the church, and they just happened to have a rental that was not occupied. And they offered that rental to the family that was displaced. They didn't ask anything for any money of any kind for this house, for this family. They even asked other members of their church to come out and try to help them with trucks and trailers to move their sacred belongings that they had had for a while, things that they cherished, and their clothes over to the new house that they were going to occupy. That is the kind of beautiful work that everybody needs to be doing, helping other people. Like I said, there's been many people that have been displaced as a result of Helene. Large tree falling down over their house, making it structurally unsound to live in. Now, that was a beautiful thing. That family that had been displaced now has a roof over their head. And members of the church got blessings for helping someone else that needed their help. I'm also asking people wherever you are, whether it be over in Florida or here in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, or up in Virginia, or even Tennessee. If you have arms and legs and have the help to do so, go over and help people that need help. Search them out. James Brackett that's here in the chat says Fort Myers got 2 to 3 feet of storm surge, minimally compared to the rest of the west coast of Florida. Now, folks, I spoke to a gentleman this morning. He was blown away about 20 feet of water. He was in Perry, Florida, when the storm hit. He couldn't believe 30 feet of water. He had a hard time with 30 feet of storm surge that he saw. He said he was lucky to be alive. A lot of people are very lucky to be alive today. But we have people helping people. We have people helping people. Hurricane Helene is not quite a memory, and I don't think the memory of Hurricane Helene is going to go away for a long time. Berlinda Mustafa says her own daughter would not give her a loaf of bread. That's a sad day. That's a sad day. Now, I got a call from a member of our family wondering where her brother was, who lives up near Asheville, that got hit really bad. Let me play a video for you right now of what happened in Asheville, North Carolina.
In the early 2000s, they were back-to-back hurricanes that hit. They come up through the Gulf Stream. Of course, that's when we get the rain. I've crossed this actual bridge and water be bumping the bottom. But as you can see, the main current took over and washed this road out. I was born and raised just right up the road at Sunnyview. I live in Green Creek now. I'm trying to get to my 91-year-old grandmother, just make sure she's okay. My father lives up here. His wife's out of town in Colorado now, so it's just kind of, there's no cell service. I can't. And then another thing too is I got a daughter at Western Carolina and a daughter at Mars Hill, and I have not talked to them since 10 o'clock yesterday. So Dad's getting a little excited.
Sorry guys, I can't allow that sound to go out.
There's probably 50 trees blocking my neighbor from coming out. I started helping them yesterday. The neighbors at the other end of the road, we got us out, but the other neighbors are trapped. Our little area and community, when you get the people like us, we work together. We're not stepping over each other. We're not jumping lines to buy the last candy bar. That's the way the world needs. We need community back.
There's a creek behind the apartment that I stay in, and it was flooding the banks and not going under the highway like it should. So I got up, power went out, cell phone went out early that morning, and so there's no way to talk to anyone. Some of the neighbors came and knocked on doors, and we sort of communicated with each other pouring in the rain. I walked across the street to go check on a house that is a friend of mine's, and the water was at least 10 feet up from where it should be. Water in basements, water pushing boats through roofs of boathouses, debris, just all of people's toys and furniture was just floating out there. It was pretty devastating. I've never seen anything quite like it. This is the basement. I don't think I or anyone else living here expected to see what we saw, the devastation that we saw, except for those, I'm sure, who were close to the rushing water. Really crazy. When you turn the corner and you see your community just full of buildings and trash and floating boathouses and floating homes, it just sort of takes your breath away. And it was scary.
I own Lake Lure Marine. We do the marine repair here. We live on the river going out of town, so we kind of see both ends of it. They started dropping lake level a couple days ago, trying to keep ahead of the storm, but it just overran everything. And it flooded at our place maybe 25 feet over most of our property. But the sirens all went off. We kind of knew, because the sirens, we lost cell phones, we lost power, everything. We were able to move up to higher ground and stay out of the water anyways. It only was up for maybe 8 hours or so, then it went back down. We were lucky enough. We got all of our animals out. Everybody got out. It's okay. We got boat carnage everywhere, but that's it. We're living it.
That's what it sounded like at my house, or where Carol and I live, Friday night. All night. Okay, the rest of this footage has no sound, so I'm going to kind of talk here for a minute. This morning, Biden held a news conference and he was asked about Hurricane Helene. And he basically said those people are now on their own. He's not going to do anything. The states, North and South Carolina, declared a disaster area. A state disaster area, state of emergency. And Biden this morning said the people are on their own. What a bunch of crap. What a bunch of crap. The President of the United States telling 2 states that we're on our own. Because Biden and his companion, his nursemaid, Harris, is losing the election. They know it. And North Carolina has already turned.
Are you still interested in a solar-powered generator? Because pay special attention, because I'm going to...
North Carolina has already turned conservative, and they are voting for Trump. And so this idiot decides that they're not going to do anything at all. They're not going to do anything at all. What a crock of garbage. Sorry, a friend of mine's video came on here and I'm going to watch that later. What a crock of crap. 118 people have lost their lives because of the storm. From Florida north. And this president doesn't give a darn. He needs to be thumped in the butt. He needs a wake-up call. Hurricane Heather says it's political weather. You're right. And I don't want to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about something positive. Like I said, one of our family members called me about her brother living here in North Carolina near Asheville. She hadn't heard from her brother in 3 days. So I called the sheriff. I called the sheriff where her brother lives. And the sheriff did get back with me. But meantime, her brother got back with her. Her brother and his son are okay. Thanks be to God for that. Thanks be to God for that. But I went and called the sheriff. And the sheriff said, no problem, Mr. Tyler. You're a former law enforcement officer. And I didn't have to tell her that. You're a former law enforcement officer, and apparently she had some way of knowing that from my telephone number or something. You're a former law enforcement officer. We'll go over there and do a health check to make sure everybody's okay. And that's exactly what they did. I talked to the Brevard County Sheriff. No problem. Folks, this is what we do for each other. We help each other. We do whatever it takes to help each other. I want to thank the Brevard County Sheriff for all they're doing over there. The sheriff told me that they had no cell phone coverage before today. They had no satellite link until today. Elon Musk has a business called Starlink, where he has launched satellites with his great big rocket that he has sent into space dozens of times, launching his Starlink satellites into space, and then providing Starlink here on the surface to people that need it, to people who otherwise would be cut off from the world. Well, I want to tell you this. There have been some storm chasers. Brandon Kopic, Vince Wiletti, and Corey Gurkett, and Reed Timmer, the best storm chasers in the country. They chased Hurricane Helene They intercepted the hurricane and delivered food, water, gas, and Starlinks to those in need. So I want to say thank you to them. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Corey. And thank you, Reed, for all you do. These gentlemen are always out there with every storm, tornadoes or hurricane or whatever, wintertime. They've been out there, and I've seen their videos literally all across this country providing coverage to let us know and help people keep safe. I want to give them thanks for that. Now, they're not the only ones that went out there with food and equipment and water. Ryan Hall Y'all also had his Y'all squad, and they also went out and helped people that were in need. During this past weekend, people that watched his channel raised $40,000. And that money has now gone out into the communities, even here in North Carolina. I want to thank Ryan Hall as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless these great men and women that go out of their way to help others. Like I said, I want to thank the Sheriff's Office and the Asheville Police Department. That lake burst, and the city of Asheville lost everything. My credit union headquarters is in Asheville, North Carolina. I went and visited the branch office here in Morganton. It is closed indefinitely, probably because the headquarters office has been washed away. That puts me in a bind. I have a check coming from the government between now and the 3rd. I'm hoping, like all get out, that my credit union opens up the doors and gets their internet back on the road. Right before I came on the air tonight, I checked the credit union just as soon as the internet would allow me to, because right before I came on the air, the internet went down here and I had to wait for it to come back up. That's why we're late coming on the air. But I'm hoping, like all get out, that my credit union will come back up and I can have access to my money. Otherwise, I got to find a way to tell my landlady that I don't have the money to pay the rent because my credit union got flooded in Asheville. I'm hoping my credit union comes through between now and then. Now, those people that were left high and dry are very lucky. Carol and I feel blessed because even though it rained like a son of a gun and howling winds and heavy rain, even where it looked like fog or snow falling, it was water flooding this area. Hurricane Heather says she wants to shout out max velocity too. Juvie Joe is asking, you can't pay the bills, Ron? Right now I have no idea how I'm going to pay the bills. I can't get money into my credit union, and I can't get money from PayPal into the credit union. I have no way to access the computer system, the online banking, or any at the ATM. It's down. Juvie Joe says she'll pay for it. Juvie Joe, here's something else. I don't know how you can do it. My rent's due on the 3rd. It's $1,065. I don't know how you can do that. I'd appreciate it, but I don't know how you can do that. My credit union headquarters is in Asheville and they got flooded out. The local office is closed because of that. The storm chasers and the sheriff's office and the police departments are all out there doing the job because of these storm chasers and Ryan Hall and Max Velocity, doing their best to make sure that people are helped the most possible way that they can. I want to thank these storm chasers. I want to thank Elon Musk. I want to thank our law enforcement, our fire department, and our paramedics for saving people's lives. Barbara Iyer says she is in East Caldwell. If you need something and we can get it to you, I can bring you food and supplies. Barbara, we have food and water. We're fine that way. We're fine that way. I just got to figure out how we're going to pay our rent for this next month in case the Social Security gets put in the bank or they can't put it in the bank. If I can't get into online banking, I don't understand how the government can get into the bank either to deposit my money. It's automatically deposited. I'm hoping they do that. Juby Joe says that she'll send it, but she needs details. Juby Joe, you can call me after this show is over and we can talk. I appreciate that. But again, I want to thank the Asheville Police, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. I want to thank our storm chasers, Ryan Hall, y'all, Max Velocity, and any other weather people that are out here. We appreciate all that you've done. We really do. I'm very thankful that Elon Musk is making this technology available, and so that our storm chasers and everyone else out here can do the job. When Maui was burning down over in Hawaii, Elon Musk sent a Starlink satellite system to one of my friends over in Maui, allowing him to let other people use the Starlink to contact their friends and relatives through their phones. So I'm very thankful that that's the way it is. I'm very thankful for Elon Musk and everybody else. Now I want to thank some other people here. I want to thank one of my friends here in Morganton. He's a great man. He helped me get the computer we now have. He works for Discerner Computers, DISCERNER Computers and Guru2Go. GURU 2, the number 2, and go. Discerner Computers and Guru2Go. I want to thank Richard for doing that, helping me get the computer that we need to come on the air. I also want to thank Tennessean News for this timely flood story in Asheville. I wanted to make sure people actually got to see what happened, because Asheville has been destroyed, as well as other communities throughout this country. Now, I also want to thank 4 Patriots. I want to thank 4 Patriots, not just 4 Patriots food. I want to thank 4 Patriots for helping us get to where Carol and I were on Saturday night and Sunday. During the time that this storm was coming in and blowing through all weekend long, I got this about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, about 4 years ago. This is a backup battery. This is a backup battery provided for by 4 Patriots. Okay? It's a great battery. Carol and I charged both of our phones twice. Carol and I charged our phones twice each with this backup battery provided by 4 Patriots. You can buy 2 of them, I believe, for $50. I got this one. This is great. It's worth its weight in gold. You can charge it here by the solar panel here. You can also charge it via your home right here at the bottom of this battery here, this solar battery. You can charge it right here. Then on either side here, you can charge your phones. This solar battery is worth its weight in gold. 4 Patriots helped us get that. I want to show you something else that 4 Patriots helped us survive this weekend with. Okay? It's called the Halo XT flashlight. The Halo XT flashlight. This main beam here has 2 settings. It has a very bright setting that can be seen over a mile away. It also has a less bright setting where you can see anywhere you want to point it to. And it's very effective. It's also got a strobe light here. Now I'm not going to turn it on because it would blind the camera and probably burn up my camera. I don't want to do that. But folks, this flashlight is worth everything. And I haven't even had to charge it since. This flashlight here has a magnet. Heidi Petrick just sent us $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Heidi. We appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that. I'm giving you an EMA sticker heart over on your super chat. I'm also giving you a thumbs up for doing that for us. Thank you, Heidi Petrick. She says, I hope you can get this quicker on. I hope it can help you, if only a little bit. I'm not going to be able to get it until the 21st of this month, or 21st of October. That's the way YouTube works. You can pay me on the super chats, but I don't get any money until the 21st of the month. It goes from the 18th, the YouTube collects the money from the 21st of one month to the 18th of the next month. And then they supposedly pay us on the 21st. I didn't get paid until Sunday. Finally, 3 days past, I'm sorry, it was not this past weekend, but the weekend before. It took them 3 days for me to get this money. That's the way YouTube works. Okay? Anyway, there's a magnet right here where you can attach the flashlight to your refrigerator or the dashboard of your car if the dashboard is metal. Anywhere where you have a metal in your car or whatever, this will attach to it and keep the flashlight safe for you. Then, in case you get trapped and surrounded by floodwaters, you can tap this point right here. Tap that window with this point right here and it will shatter the glass. Then you can use the rest of the flashlight like this to remove the glass in your car, and that way you can swim out of your car if your car is surrounded by water. So this is a great thing as well. Over here you have a paper cutter. Right here's a paper cutter here. It's a great thing. But 4 Patriots went a step further. Right here. Right here you have another solar charger here to charge this flashlight with. But when you're not using the solar panel, we also have little small LED lights here. You can use this light as a work light. You can use this light as a work light. But we're not done yet. Right here at the bottom of the flashlight, we have a compass. We have a compass. This is a great thing. So now you can orient your maps and get to where you want to go if you're using a map to travel with. But that's not all, folks. There's more. Let me show you this. The bottom of this flashlight is meant to either charge a flashlight via a USB port or to charge your phone with. So not only do you have a bright light to work with or to find your way with, but you can also charge your phone with this. That's cool. This is a Halo XT flashlight. I got this about 4 years ago, and this has saved our lives this weekend. That flashlight has saved our lives this weekend. Yes, we have some smaller flashlights we also have in the house. Yes, we did use those. But this Halo XT flashlight and this 4 Patriots battery here saved our life, literally. We could charge our phones. My wife could play her games on her phone, and I could keep track of what's going on after the internet came back up before the power did. Just prior to the power going out, before the internet left us, Carol and I said goodbye to our kids on the phone Friday night. But we did not hear back from them until Sunday afternoon, yesterday afternoon. I'm very thankful for 4 Patriots for having this solar battery here. This is a great thing. This is a great thing. Heidi Petrick says 4 Patriots has good stuff. They surely do. Something else that I truly love about 4 Patriots is 4 Patriots food. This is a 72-hour kit. We have probably a half dozen 72-hour kits in our home from 4 Patriots. And we've got also a 2-month supply of food as well. So now we have probably close to, I want to say, close to 3 months worth of food from 4 Patriots. Barbara Iyer says she has that kit as well and hasn't used it. I hope you don't have to. That food is packed in durable poly paper where it's good, makes it good for 25 years. Keeps it safe. Keeps it good. I love their food. I've used it. I opened the package to use to show or to talk to people about 4 Patriots food when I did a preparations fair when I was in Utah. Mylar. Juby Joe says Mylar. That's it. They use Mylar packaging for each serving of food. It's awesome. And most servings of food will give you a whole 24 hours worth of food. Not just one meal. Some of that food you can use for 2 or 3 different meals. I've done that. It's great food. And it lasts a long time. It provides about 2,000 calories per serving. That's good. That's really good. I love 4 Patriots. I really do. I've talked about the Cerner computers for my computer. I talked about the Tennessean News. They gave us that clip and allowed us to use that clip on the air tonight. I've talked about 4 Patriots. The last thing I want to talk about is Mears Insurance Group. Mears Insurance Group is a great insurance company. It's a local insurance company. And I've used them extensively during my time here in North Carolina. Mears Insurance Group is awesome. They really are. Okay? This is their logo here. Adam Mears is Paul Mears' son. Adam Mears is part of the Mears Insurance Group. Okay? Home, life, automobile, and health. Home, life, automobile, and health insurance. Now, one of the things I didn't consider before this storm came in, Paul did a commercial on Facebook talking to people about their auto insurance and protecting their cars. He made a statement that's very true. Before you get in your car and park it, make sure it's parked in a safe place. Make sure it's not parked near any tree or power pole. And we saw what happened during this past weekend with trees and power poles. I highly recommend Mears Insurance Company. They're great people. Adam Mears has given us car insurance that we couldn't otherwise have. He found us the best buy for car insurance. If you're here in North Carolina, I highly advise you to call Mears Insurance Group. They're awesome. Mears Insurance Group. Let me give you their telephone number. Mears Insurance Group is awesome. It really is. I can't tell you what it means to have Adam Mears and Paul Mears, his father, be some of my friends. They're great. They really are. They're honest. They're forthright. They're fun to be around as friends. But quite honestly, they do their job. They do their job to the best of their ability. And they do it very well. Well, doggone it. Just a second here. Here it is. I'm sorry. You can contact Mears Insurance by calling 828-874-2186. 828-874-2186. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, guys. They really are. Again, YouTube had our chat disconnected. Then they reconnected it. Unreal. Unreal. Do any of you have any questions for us? I can answer you here. Right before I leave you tonight, I want to talk about some earthquakes. And there's a reason why. During this past weekend, we had a bunch of earthquakes hit Southern California. A bunch of earthquakes hit Southern California. It's my feeling, and I've expressed this to you in the past. Again, USGS is not showing us all the earthquakes here in Southern California. There are a bunch. There are a bunch. There is a huge swarm of earthquakes over here to the east side of Los Angeles. Oh, darn it, they've done it to me again. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to take this map down and then put it up again. They do this to me at least once a night. I should have known it's coming. Okay, let's go back here to Southern California. Folks, we have a bunch of earthquakes here. We're still getting earthquakes over here. Remember this? This is Lamont, California. This is the Grapevine. We had a 5.1 earthquake here about 6 weeks ago. They're still getting hit. This is a 1.6 tremor here. This is another 1.6 here in the Grapevine area. Just south of that is the what? The San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault. Let's go over here into Los Angeles area here. Right here. This is the Mojave Desert, isn't it? The Mojave Desert. This is Boron, California. This is just south of the Garlock Fault. That's a 1.4 tremor here. This is a 1.8. These are quarries here. Now these earthquakes are not responsible to the quarry. These have nothing to do with quarry blasts. These are earthquakes in the Mojave Desert. We come further down here to the North LA area. Right here. This is Little Creek here. This is a 1.0 tremor. Right alongside what? The San Andreas Fault. Right here. This is Fontana. Wonderful thing that they would put Fontana up here. NCWQ Rebecca just gave us $1 super chat. Thank you for that, Becky. We appreciate that. I just also gave you an EMA sticker and also gave you a thumbs up for that super chat. Thanks so much, Becky. We appreciate that. Anyway, this is Fontana, California. USGS is actually showing a 0.8 tremor. The bad thing is they're not showing all the other earthquakes. These earthquakes are ranging in from a 2.5 minor earthquake all the way up to a 3.0 earthquake here. Fontana. USGS is just being as dishonest as they possibly can. Fontana is just south of the San Jacinto Fault. Just south of San Jacinto. That's not the only place here. Folks, right here. Loma Linda. Loma Linda, guys, guess what? We've had swarms of earthquakes here. This is also on the San Jacinto Fault. 0.7 and 0.5 in Loma Linda, California. To the north. And you can see this earthquake here. This is Running Springs. Running Springs, California. This is a 0.9, 1.0 tremor. 1.0 tremor just north of the San Andreas Fault. But not to be outdone. Going south here. Moreno, California, Orange County. A 0.8 tremor. We come further south over here to Corona, California. Los Angeles. Corona, California, 1.0 tremor. Right here, Yorba Linda. Yorba Linda is the birthplace of our former President Richard Nixon. This is a 1.2 in Yorba Linda. Right here is Villa Park. Villa Park. This is a 1.3 tremor. Now, what you're seeing is not all the earthquakes that are happening here. There's dozens of other earthquakes that have been hitting Los Angeles County during this past weekend. Dozens, and I'm saying dozens. Most of the earthquakes have been hitting are up here in Banning, California. This earthquake here is Banning on the San Andreas Fault. This earthquake just south of there is just south of Banning here, just 2 miles south-southwest of Banning on the San Andreas Fault. Further south, over here on the San Jacinto, this is San Jacinto, California. This is where the mountain is, San Jacinto Mountain. 1.0 tremor here on the San Jacinto Fault. Go figure. Both the San Jacinto and the San Andreas Fault are moving. They're moving, and not in a good way. I'm telling you right now, we are due from having a very major earthquake here. Scientists have been talking about it. Scientists have been talking about a major earthquake on the San Andreas Fault. When the San Andreas Fault goes, okay, like I said, this is Banning. The San Andreas Fault goes all the way down here into the Imperial Valley. Okay? When the San Andreas Fault goes, it's going to set off all these other faults as well. It's going to set them off. This is Fallbrook, California. A 1.1 tremor in Fallbrook, California. Further south, this is Warner Springs, California. Warner Springs. This is Anza, the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County, the San Jacinto Fault here. This is also part of the San Jacinto Fault here in the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. These are earthquakes in Borrego Springs here. There's not one, just dozens of earthquakes here in Borrego Springs that they're not telling us about. This is a 1.1 here, but there's another dozen earthquakes here. West of there, Julian, California. This is eastern San Diego County. Julian, California. Further south, this is east of Julian. This is a 0.7 microquake here. Further south here, this is Chula Vista, California. This is a 1.3 tremor here. I'm going to zoom in and show you where this earthquake is. USGS has this as a quarry blast. It's not a quarry, guys. This has nothing to do with a quarry blast. There is no quarry anywhere near here. This is a housing development right in a park. This is a housing development right in a park in Chula Vista, California. Yet USGS is calling this a quarry blast. This is not a quarry blast. It has nothing to do with a quarry blast. Absolutely nothing to do with a quarry blast here. Unreal. I don't know how they get off saying what they're saying. I just don't. Almost every time, I'm going to say 90% of the time when USGS does something stupid like this, they call it a quarry blast. And I prove them wrong. I prove them wrong every time. Every time. Let's go back out here east of San Diego County. This time I'm going over into the Imperial Valley. Right here. Actually, we just had another earthquake just to the north side of the Imperial Valley. Right here. This is a 1.1 in Borrego Springs. It just happened within the last minute or two. A 1.1 over in Borrego Springs, part of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. It's hitting. It's part of the San Jacinto Fault. That's why. We go down here into the Imperial Valley here. Also part of the San Jacinto Fault. This is 23 kilometers west-southwest of Westmoreland. Westmoreland, California. It's interesting that they would say that this is west-southwest of Westmoreland. Because guess where this earthquake is here? This is Westmoreland, California. This is another 1.3 tremor here in Westmoreland, California. There is a seismograph located in Westmoreland. And when they say there's a 1.3 tremor, there's also earthquakes here. Now, I've not looked at the Imperial Valley today. I've got to tell you that, but I know for a fact what the Imperial Valley is doing. Every day, the Imperial Valley has at least 300 to 500 earthquakes. 300 to 500 earthquakes throughout the Imperial Valley every day. You can count on it. Further south here, Holtville, California. Good old Holtville, California. There's a seismograph located here in Holtville. It's called the Salton Sea Desert Research Station. The Salton Sea Desert Research Station here in Holtville. Now we're having a 1.2 tremor here. They say this is west-southwest of Holtville. Sorry, it's east of Holtville. You see Holtville right there. Okay? Folks, Holtville, a 1.2 tremor here. There are more earthquakes all over the valley than they're even showing here. There's no way they can even tell us what's going on because they don't know. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do know, but they refuse to talk about it. We go further south into Mexico. Also on the San Andreas Fault Zone. Right on top of the San Andreas Fault Zone here in northern Mexico. Just north of the Gulf of California here, we have a 2.2 earthquake. Estacion Coahuila, Baja California. Estacion Coahuila, Baja California. a 2.2 earthquake here on the San Andreas Fault. And again, they're not showing all the earthquakes here. Down here in the Gulf of California, we have some 3.5s. 3.5 earthquakes. But again, this organization here in the United States that's supposed to be the preeminent seismic energy here in the United States isn't talking about everything. They never do. One more earthquake that I do, actually two earthquakes I want to talk to you about. Almost forgot about this one here. This one here, just northeast of the Great Salt Lake. We've had earthquakes here before. This is a 2.2 earthquake just northeast of the Great Salt Lake. This is Thatcher, Utah. A 2.2 earthquake southwest of Thatcher, Utah. Okay? Unreal. So Utah's getting hit. This one here. This is Tabiona, Utah. This is southeast of Salt Lake City. In the mountains here. These are the Wasatch Mountains here. 1.2 tremor. Further south here. Fayette, Utah. A 0.6 microquake. Then we come further south here. This is over here off Interstate 15 here in southern Utah. Kenosha, Utah. A 1.8 tremor here. Now, I want to go even closer here. I want to show you what's going on. There's a bunch of earthquakes here. Why? This is Milford, near Milford, Utah. Just south of this earthquake is the Black Rock Desert Volcano. The Black Rock Desert Volcano right here. Okay? Incredible. That's why this earthquake hit here. The Black Rock Desert Volcano. Okay? That's what's happening here in Utah. Now I'm going to skip over Texas. I'm going to skip over Oklahoma. We have earthquakes down Falls City, Texas. We have earthquakes in southern Oklahoma. However, this earthquake we got to talk about. This is an aftershock. This is an aftershock of a 5.9 earthquake here earlier this year. A 5.9 earthquake here earlier this year. USGS tried to call it a 4.5 earthquake. It wasn't. It was a full magnitude and a half larger than that. When that earthquake hit, I called it out. I went and took the images the USGS provided, the data. I put the data together and I showed you what it really was. It was not a 4.5 moderate earthquake. It was a 5.9 very large earthquake, nearly a 6.0 very strong earthquake. Yes, there was damage here in California, New Jersey. California, New Jersey, northern New York. This today is a 1.6 tremor, 5 kilometers deep, 2 miles deep. 1.6 tremor aftershock from this earthquake here just 5 months ago, 5 months ago. Unreal. The East Coast is still moving. The East Coast is still moving. I keep telling you about that. Now, the East Coast is going to continue to move because of the North Mid-Atlantic Fault here. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding and it's pushing Europe in an easterly direction, but it's pushing Greenland, North America, Canada, the United States and Mexico in a south-southwesterly direction. That's going to cause real problems. Real problems. We've seen earthquakes here on the East Coast ranging in size from that 5.9 earlier this year all the way down to a 1.7 tremor. All up and down the coast. 2.5s, 3.0s, 3.5 earthquakes happening every day along the East Coast of the United States. and the Pneumatic Fault. USGS never or hardly ever shows any earthquakes here on the Pneumatic Fault. Hardly ever. They're not showing any here. But I can guarantee you there are 3.5 to 4.0 earthquakes hitting today here on the Pneumatic Fault. Arkansas and Missouri. Arkansas and Missouri. And it's not just there that's hitting. It's just hitting moderate earthquakes there, but other earthquakes here and tremors up and down the entire fault zone. We are going to have a pneumatic earthquake ranging in size from a 7.0 to an 8.5 earthquake here on the Pneumatic Fault within the next 2 years. I expect the Pneumatic Fault to give up within the next 2 years. Okay? I believe we are expecting a catastrophic earthquake in the Pacific Northwest in terms of a Cascadia megathrust earthquake, probably within the next 5 years. First the New Madrid, then the Cascadia earthquake here in the Pacific Northwest. Prior to that, I fully expect a 7.0 here in Southern California, very likely this year. A 7.0 major earthquake in Southern California this year, right in this area. Okay? That's going to happen. That is going to happen. Does anybody have any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay? Juby Joe, look at our banner on the left top part of our program. Juby Joe says she wants to call me after this program is through. Juby Joe, our telephone number is right there. 619-755-3736. That's our telephone number. It's right here on the banner here, so you have it. You don't have to email me. You can call it as soon as we get up the air. It's right here for you. I appreciate that. Barbara Iris says, Ron, we occasionally experience a rolling sensation here on Sunk Mountain, eastern Caldwell County. But it never shows as an earthquake. It doesn't. Because they're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us. We have earthquakes here, tremors here. Tremors here in Morganton. 1.5, 1.7. How do I know? Guess what? I don't have a crystal ball. However, I have a glass of water. I do have a glass of water here, a bottle of water here. When this bottle of water is sitting on my desk, I see the water move, and I'm not even touching the desk. When I see the water move, I know there's a tremor. When I see it move in a great manner, I know that we've had an earthquake because I feel it beneath my feet. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have a water bottle. Renee Steffi, I'm sorry, guys. Renee Steffi said we had a chemical plant explosion in Georgia. We did. Sunday morning at about 4 o'clock in the morning, we had a chemical explosion at a factory in Georgia. It was a big deal. It's still putting out toxic chemicals into the air right now. You may not see a lot of smoke, but it's putting out toxic chemicals now. It was a chemical plant explosion. Now, some people want to say it was an accident. Some people want to say it's an accident. Folks, we've had too many chemical plant explosions for that to be an accident. It's not an accident, guys. It's not an accident by far. When I first saw that come across the news yesterday, after I got our internet back, I'm going, oh my gosh. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'd had our internet back for about 2 hours. I had done my Sunday school class, and I saw that come across the news feed. I'm going, holy crap. Folks, the fire was out by 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Again, I don't believe it was an accident. If it was an accident, there's too many of them. If there was an accident, there's too many of them. Unreal. Diana Lard says there's too many things going down, artificial chaos. Absolutely. I believe we're going to see more and more between now and November 5th. There was a rocket launch at Trump's campaign plane, Trump Force One. There was a rocket launch earlier this week against Trump Force One. It missed. It missed. Trump Force One has also been able to put out chaff. So they tried again to assassinate President Trump. They're doing whatever it takes to make sure President Trump does not occupy the Oval Office again. This past weekend, we also found something else out. Iran has 3 terror squads here in the United States try to attempt to kill President Trump. He found out about one of them. The Iranian president was here in the United States visiting Biden. And all of a sudden, the Iranian president disappeared. Interesting how that happens. Interesting how that happens. As soon as President Trump is notified of the terror squads, the Iranian president disappeared. Funny how that happens. The Iranian president was here to speak to the UN. I wish the UN would be thrown out of this country. I am hoping when President Trump takes office again, one of the first things he does is run the UN out of the United States. They have no business being here. Not at all. Unreal. Anyway, guys, do you have any questions for me? Demon Catman says number 9, then number 10. Dean, you're something else. You're great. I appreciate you. Okay, Juvie Joe has my telephone number so she can call me when the program is over. I want to share two verses of scripture with you. These verses come in Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 and 24. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. Do it unto the Lord. Do it heartily. Don't just be batting your eyes at it and jacking your jowls, saying, okay, I'll do it. Do it heartily. Do it with full purpose of mind. Make sure that whatever we do, whether we are at our jobs or whether we are serving in our churches or our communities, we do it heartily. Heartily. Not just because we're standing there. We give it everything we have. Do it heartily unto the Lord, for we serve the Lord Christ. Okay? It's there in the scriptures. It's there in the scriptures. I love the scriptures. For the scriptures teach us of eternal life with Jesus Christ. I love it. I love Jesus Christ. I love all of you. You guys make my day. You give me hope. I love talking to you. That's why I come here. I love being with you and sharing the gospel of Christ. I love sharing what we're seeing here with the natural things that are happening that take our lives, that interrupt our lives, and make it kind of spooky at times, and make it so we don't want to be here. But I assure you, we do want to be here. We do want to be here. Julie Jo says she called and left a message. I appreciate that. I'll call you back. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I really do. I'm here for you. I'm here for Linda Covington. Linda Covington is one of the best friends we've ever had, that I've ever had. I want to thank her for everything she's done for each one of us, and yes, she has. Linda Covington has done some things for all of us, and I will be forever grateful for what she's done for me and others. Brothers and sisters, I love you. If anything else happens tonight, we will be back here on air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Otherwise, you're going to see me sometime after 6 p.m., given we have internet. I'm hoping the electricity doesn't go down anymore. I hate it. Planning on getting on the air right at 6 o'clock. Go figure. And all of a sudden the electricity goes down. It came back as soon as it came back on. I love you, brothers and sisters, I do. I hope you have a good night and a better tomorrow. Tell all your friends about this channel. Tell your family, your extended family, your friends and neighbors, your social media contacts, and even the people you work with. Tell them about what we talked about tonight, about this storm and what it did. And we're still looking for people. People that are important to other people. Friends and neighbors and loved ones. God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. Take it easy. Take care of each other. Enjoy. Be safe. We will talk to you soon. Good night, brothers and sisters. Take it easy.